Stay-at-home moms have no education. Stay-at-home moms only know how to wipe bums and faces. Stay-at-home moms have no right to talk about money because they don't make any. There is this trope in society right now that really wants people to devalue a stay-at-home mom. Society really wants you to think that stay-at-home moms are stupid, that there's no value there, that you should absolutely not be one. And what does it say about society that they devalue stay-at-home moms so much? Moms that look after the house, moms that look after the children and the family. What does that say about a society? Welcome back, everybody. My name's Amanda. This is Strawberry Moon Homestead. If you're new here on this channel, I focus on frugal living, living on one income, budget meals, and urban homesteading. If that's something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along. So I have been talking a lot recently about living on one income, and every now and again, I come up against somebody who is very persistent in devaluing stay-at-home moms. And this dates back a long time, but recently it's been more since women have entered the workplace. Now, back in the 70s and 80s, women were leaving the home en masse to go get jobs. And this is because during the 1950s and 60s, back in that traditional phase that right now is being popularized as the ideal, women were very depressed. And if you've ever read I believe it's The Feminine Mystique, she explains how really during that time, women had no purpose. And that's why women were leaving the home looking for jobs. During that time, everything had been modernized. The men were leaving the house for work, the children were leaving the house for school, and women were at home all day, and their jobs and skills had been stripped away by modern society, leaving them basically as cleaners and consumers. With the age of convenience, there was TV dinners, there was supermarkets, there was laundry machines, there were all these tools to look after the mom's job for her. And all she was left to do was go buy things. So she had to go buy the groceries, buy the dishwasher tabs, buy the laundry detergent, buy all these things that were going to make her life so much easier. And in the end, it just caused her life to be more depressing and completely void of purpose. So women left this, and they left it behind, and they went to go get jobs, thinking that they would find purpose there. Now that's a whole other discussion on how many women have left the home, and now there's nobody at home to look after the home or the children. And children are shuttled off to daycares and summer camps to be raised by other people, because now moms are trying to find purpose elsewhere, when in reality, there just needs to be more purpose in the home. Now, that's another video. For right now, I'd like to discuss how this has led to the devaluation of the stay-at-home mom. Because many women were going out to the workforce, more money was being made, which meant more money could be spent, which meant society liked women working and being out of the home, because when more money was made, more money could be spent. So they started devaluing the stay-at-home mom, make her look stupid, make people look down upon her, so that no other women were going to want to be a stay-at-home mom. They are going to want to leave and work and have a purpose outside and contribute to the workforce so that she can continue to make money to continue to spend it. I recently came across this as I talk a lot about making money on one income and getting by as a stay-at-home mom. And I had somebody comment on one of my videos, "Oh my goodness, not money advice from a stay-at-home mom." And when I questioned her on it, she said, "I would never ask money advice from somebody who doesn't make money. And I wouldn't go to my accountant asking him how to bake cookies." Now, I tried to have a discussion with this woman, but she refused to answer back after that. And it's unfortunate that this is how we now look at stay-at-home moms, that they're stupid, that they're ill-educated, and that they have no idea how to handle money. And maybe this is the case for some women, that they don't know how to handle money. Maybe they are in a relationship where they are not allowed to handle money, and that's a completely separate thing that comes down to financial abuse. So that's not exactly what I am talking about here. But women in healthy marriages typically will have their hands in the money and will be doing a lot of the budgeting for the household. I know for myself, I do the budgeting for everything. I make sure the mortgage is paid, and I am the one that does all the investing. If there's somebody in our relationship that is listening to finance podcasts or reading the finance books, that's me. If you asked my husband where our investments were, he would not know. And I feel like that is the truth for a lot of stay-at-home moms, that they do know where their finances are going because they are the ones managing the budget. They are the ones managing the finances. So who better to talk to about finances? If the mom is the consumer, she is the one spending the money. She's going out and buying the kids' clothes. She's buying the groceries. She's paying the bills. She's making sure that everything is looked after, which means making sure that everything is paid for. So she is the one handling the money. Again, this isn't always the case, but in my experience, this is a lot of the times the case. Not to mention that there is a lot of moms who have went out, got the degree, got the career, and then had children and realized their purpose was staying home with their children and raising them. So there are a lot of very educated women out there that have chosen to stay at home because that is where they feel their purpose lies, with raising their children, with being there for their family and making their house a home. Not to mention that many of these women who are choosing to stay home are also unearthing a lot of older skills. They're gardening, they're canning, they're homesteading, they're learning how to be frugal and good with their money. So they're unearthing a lot of these skills where I feel like when women are working, they are so busy with trying to keep up with work and then kids' schedules and all of that. They don't have the time, they don't have the bandwidth to spend the time to learn those extra skills because they are so spread thin. I am not saying that working moms are wrong. I am not saying that stay-at-home moms are right. This is not that kind of discussion. What I am saying is that stay-at-home moms are educated, very much so. Not only are they great with money, typically, but they're also educating themselves in many other ways that if they were working, they may not have an opportunity to do so. Stay-at-home moms hold a wealth of knowledge that is typically ignored. And we have to ask ourselves, why are we being sold this opinion that stay-at-home moms are nothing? That you should not be a stay-at-home mom, you need to go out to society and produce an income. Why are we being sold this idea and falling into that propaganda? I even felt it myself for a long time after becoming a stay-at-home mom, that I was not contributing to the household, so I wasn't allowed an opinion or things like that, even though my husband never ever said any of that or pressured it. It was just a feeling that I had, and that feeling came from outside societal pressures. So I think as a society, we do need to realize that this is something that we are being told that is not necessarily true. The reason that we are being told that stay-at-home moms are not important, that they should not exist, is because not only are we keeping a lot of the money that is being made in the home, it means that the money isn't going elsewhere. We are not feeding the consumer system. The world is built on consumerism. It is built being dependent on you spending your money. And stay-at-home moms are great at not doing that. And it's because they're passionate about being at home, about living on one income and staying home with their children. They don't need to send their children away to daycare. They don't need to spend money on Uber Eats or on DoorDash because they're making their meals homemade. They don't need to spend money on Instacart because they do take the time to go handpick the groceries that they need. They have the time to be able to save that money when society would really like to push you to get out there and spend that money. So whenever you're feeling that thought that, oh, stay-at-home moms are nothing, they're ill-educated, I could never do that, why would I ever ask a stay-at-home mom for money education? Think again. I want you to sit back with that thought and think about it and wonder, what kind of propaganda are you being sold and why? In this day and age, the family has been separated. Dads are off at work, moms are off at work, kids are off at school, daycare, or summer camp, and that really expensive house that you've paid for sits empty all day. Meanwhile, you don't have time to look after anything, so you are spending your money on all of those convenience items available to you. And it's not your fault. It's simply the way that society has been made. Stay-at-home moms are stepping away from that. We are realizing that there is a better way to do things, and we are doing our best to get that. So the next time you're looking for advice on how to save money, make sure you ask a stay-at-home mom, because I bet she has some amazing tips. Thanks for joining me here today, guys. I hope you're doing great, and I'll see you next time.